too good to my ear. Everybody wants to do the dance and time. When you have the certain one you love in your arms, stepping out with you will be a sweet interlude of interrupter that will put me in the mood. In the mood. Let's see, I got it. In the mood. Your hero spotted. In the mood. Come on, I hide it to see alive and get the jive. You've got to learn how. Get like a heifer. Hot as a pepper. Step, step, step. Step like a stepper. From August and August. We're in the mood now. Your feet were so heavy till they hardly could move. Now they're light as feathers and you're right in the groove. You were only hungry for some musical food. You're positively, absolutely in the mood. Sister, what you call my mama tell it to you. It all goes to show what good influence can do. Never felt so happy and so fully alive. Seems the jam and jumping is a powerful jive. Kangaroo has given me a new attitude. My heart's full of rhythm and I'm in the mood. In the mood, that's it, 'cause I got it and I'm in the mood. Your ear will spot it when you're in the mood. Bobbity bobbity bobba, realize that it's the jive you got to learn how. Hip hip hip, your hips like your hips are full of pep pep pep. Your heart as a pepper and you step 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 like a stepper. We're hugging, yeah, now we're hugging. 'Cause we're in the
Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to St Peter's this evening for this wonderful event. And I must say at the very start, a huge thanks to the Winchcombe players for organising and putting this on for us today. It would have been remiss of us not to do something on this important occasion. So our heartfelt thanks to you all at the Winchcombe players for doing this for us tonight. A chance for us to gather and to commemorate and to celebrate, to think and to work for continued peace. Very warm welcome also to our Lord Lieutenants. It's lovely to have you here with us, Edward. Thank you for honouring us with your presence this evening. It's my main job, though, this evening to give out some notices about health and safety and all of those exciting things. Most important things, the bar will be open. No. It is also open during the intermission, which will be halfway through. Please do make use of that. And sort of slightly linked to that, if you need a loo, it's through that door and to the left. Simon, have we opened any others? No, loos. No. So it's just through that door if you need it. Exits are the door you came in. Carry on through that door, but don't go to the loo, keep going. Or you can also go through a side door here if we need to leave in an emergency. We are not planning any fire practices, so if you hear fire, please leave by one of those. This evening's performance will be live streamed and will be available on the St Peter's YouTube channel, so please do share that with others and allow them to take part in this evening's performance as well. And one final notice, please can you turn your mobile phones off, or at least to silent? Thank you very much. as I said, it is a day of remembrance, a day of thanksgiving, and we therefore, as we come to this event this evening, I invite those of you who wish to spend a moment in thought and prayer, and I will say a prayer in a moment or two. But we thank God and remember all those who gave their life in the Second World War, and pray that God would be with us as we work for peace in this day and generation. O God of truth and justice, we hold before you those men and women who have died in active service, particularly in the Second World War, those who sacrificed through their service brought victory in Europe. As we honour their courage and cherish their memory, may we put our faith in your future. For you are the source of life and hope, now and forever. Amen.
As David just said, this is Winchcombe players of putting on this. It's an awkward thing, isn't it, when you say commemoration, celebration, but it's also remembrance. I know we get remembrance in November, but we just thought we'd like to put this on and just bring everybody together and just remember and celebrate. And first we'd like to ask the Lord Lieutenant if he'd like to say a few words. I think this has caught him on the hop, but I think he's going to do it for us. So welcome Lord Lieutenant Gloucestershire.
Good evening, everybody. It's a real honour on behalf of His Majesty to be here this evening. It's been an extraordinary day, an extraordinary week, and planning this has been very much listening to what the people want and how they want to commemorate this very special 80th anniversary of VE Day. And it has turned out to be an unbelievable hodgepodge across the nation and indeed across our lieutenancy. Our lieutenancy is Gloucestershire and South Gloucestershire, 937,000 souls, and our deputy lieutenants have been well spread out around the county in South Gloucestershire today. But my only disappointment so far has been that I've not been invited to climb any lampposts, which everybody remember that people climbed lampposts.
There are some out there, sir, if you would like to.
So far, I've not been invited to kiss random people, which seemed to be what they did in those days. But most of all, I'm dying to do the conga. Because that's what everybody... Do we have a conga this evening?
It might be arranged.
There might be a conga. Anyway, but it is wonderful to see how people celebrate, and it is a celebration. It is a celebration at the end of those 6 years of war. And today we are remembering those people who did not come home, but we are celebrating with those people who did come home and through whom our lives would not be the same as they are today. So on behalf of His Majesty, thank you for putting on this incredibly wonderful performance and entertainment, and good luck to enjoy the peace, we hope, in many, many years to come. Thank you.
Yesterday morning at 2:41 a.m. at General Eisenhower's headquarters, General Jodl, the representative of the German High Command, and of Grand Admiral Dönitz, the designated head of the German state, signed the act of unconditional surrender of all German land, sea, and air forces in Europe to the Allied Expeditionary Force, and simultaneously to the Soviet High Command. Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday the 8th of May. But in the interest of saving lives, the ceasefire began yesterday to be sounded all along the front, and our dear Channel Islands are also to be freed today. The German war is therefore at an end.
Our first item this evening is a selection of reminiscences from local people describing their experiences of the war, collected, edited and read by Penny Kane.
Good evening. These are the reminiscences from 11 of us who were old enough to remember anything at all from the Second World War. The youngest of us was about 3 at the end of the war, and the oldest about 16. So these are childhood reminiscences. We are Jean M. Jones, Philip Barton, Rosemary Hancock, Mary Coghill, John Sutcliffe, Jules Regers, Martin Gorman, Anne Hutton Potts, Felicity Firth, Audrey Spells, and me. Only 2 of us remember the beginning of the war. One because they were given an extra long summer holiday, and the other because it upset her birthday celebrations. Some of us were evacuated during the war. Jules, her mother, a trained nurse, and 40 other children were evacuated from Harrow to a huge manor house in Shropshire. She remembers holding hands with her best friend throughout the war, and they are still in touch. Audrey's country home filled up with refugees, all allocated at random, and Rosemary ended up in Cheshire. The first place in which they were billeted had an outside privy, and the bathtub was in the kitchen and filled with hot water from a kettle. She shared a bed with her brother and her mother. Later on, they were relocated to rather more glamorous accommodation in a beautiful black and white house, later identified as Moseley Old Hall. They were very happy there, but they returned in time for doodlebugs, which leads us on to air raids and doodlebugs, which arrived with a particular noise, always remembered, and when the noise stopped, the doodlebug, which was a self-propelled bomb, dropped somewhere. Although living near to Hendon Aerodrome, Rosemary's family never had so much as a broken window, unlike Jean in Bristol. Hiding under some stairs during a raid, Jean looked out and saw the sideboard doors fly open and all the glass and china falling out. She remembers her mother lying on one of those puffy eiderdowns with her face all cut, recovering from the blast that had wrecked her home. This event caused Jean to be evacuated. Many of us recall the sound of wailing sirens. I can also remember sitting in the dark bathroom of my grandparents' house, hearing the all clear. These noises carried visceral fear. Philip remembers being carried out to their shelter and being very frightened of the planes overhead. Another one of us was terrified that a bomb would fall down the chimney, a recurring nightmare for years. Martin's father built a brick wall in the garden to protect the house, although he doubts it would have prevented the bricks flying through the windows, even though they were protected by some kind of waxy material stuck crisscross over the glass. Everyone was issued with a gas mask, which had a really odd smell, sort of musty rubber, and I remember they were very hard to breathe in. Another distinctive smell was the air raid shelters, damp, earthy, horrid. John's parents thought that people decked out their shelters to look like weekend cottages were wasting time and money. Audrey remembers the red glow in the sky as Birmingham was bombed. Living in Essex, I have memories of bombs being jettisoned as the Luftwaffe bombers returned home. We all remember food. Everyone had a ration book. Sugar was rationed, and so were butter and cheese. 2 ounces per week per person. This is 2 ounces of cheese. Catch? I was never noted for my bowling. There was not much fruit, and dried bananas were particularly remembered, mostly with disgust. Young docks and nettles were foraged from hedgerows and cooked like spinach. Hens and pigs were kept in back gardens. Fresh eggs were preserved for some time by putting them in a bucket with isinglass, and my mother said you could eat all of a pig except the grunt and the tail. One person fondly remembers bacon fat, spread on bread as a breakfast treat. Others preferred fried bread with a thin smear of jam. School meals feature strongly in our memories. Rationing had a reduced impact in institutions like a school because there was always someone ill or away and thus more to go round. One of us cultivated a tolerance for the hated sago and tapioca, otherwise known as frog spawn, so that he could fill up on the other boys' rejected puddings. One remembers that you could have as much bread as you could eat, but only 1 pat of butter and 1 teaspoonful of jam, making him an expert spreader. School dinners cost 6pence, about £1.75 today, or if you were poor, 3pence, or if you were very poor, free. Sweets were rationed. 6 Cadbury's twopenny bars with either peppermint or coffee filling would last a month. A slice a day from a Mars bar meant it would last for a week. The milk pony knew exactly where to stop on his round. He pulled a cart full of milk churns, and my mother would go out and have her jug filled with a dipper containing a pint of milk. Also, if it was her lucky day, my grandmother would go out with a brush and shovel to collect what my mother called horse to fertilize the garden. More in the next half.
So I've just given her a cheese back. Can't eat it, you know, I'm not allowed to eat cheese. Right, a few years ago, I had a poem published, which is all about the Falklands conflict and looking how veterans might have felt many years later as the Liberation Day, June 14th, approached. I have adapted this poem very slightly to think about how veterans and others affected by World War II may feel on VE Day. This is called 8th of May. Every year, the 8th of May arrives, and the mind looks back to time that is getting farther away, but doesn't lose track of events that happened around the world, north, east, west, and south. Many diaries were written, and stories passed by letters and word of mouth. We, individually, have our own memories and thoughts. Some we share, and others we keep locked away in our own minds' vaults. We remember events, dates, times, and how we felt, what was happening around us, and if our final cards have been dealt. We can look back and remember what we did and came safely home, but we know there are those who can never look back or let their minds roam. They still carry out their duty where they fell during those days in World War II, where they gave the ultimate sacrifice for the king, country, me, and you. As we remember and celebrate the end of the war, we can look forward and hope that peace will last forevermore. Will we learn the lessons of what the war was all about? Possibly not, because those who send others to fight will just sit, scream, and shout.
In the first of our musical numbers, Patchwork sing a song composed by Lionel Bolesco with lyrics by Lord Invader. The song was a hit for the Andrews Sisters in 1945 and popularised calypso around the world.
If you ever go down Trinidad, they make you feel so very glad. Calypso, sing and make up right, guarantee you one real good fine time. Drinking rum and Coca-Cola, go down Point Cumana, both mother and daughter, working for the Yankee dollar. If a Yankee come to Trinidad, they got the young girls all going mad. Young girls say they treat 'em nice, make Trinidad like paradise. Drinking rum and Coca-Cola, go down Point Cumana, both mother and daughter, working for the Yankee dollar. From Chickahickory to Mona's Isle, Negroes and all dance and smile, help a soldier celebrate his leave, make every day like New Year's Eve. Drinking rum and Coca-Cola, go down Point Cumana, both mother and daughter, working for the Yankee dollar. Out on Manzanella Beach, GI romance with native peach. All night long made tropic love, the next day sit in the sun and cool off. Drinking rum and Coca-Cola, go down Point Cumana, both mother and daughter, working for the Yankee dollar. Rum and Coca-Cola, rum and Coca-Cola, working for the Yankee dollar.
And the next short poem is read by Morag Adlington.
My poem is from World War I, despite this being about World War II. But because this poem and the circumstances of its writing and publication encapsulate so very much of what war is really about. Written by Wilfred Owen, Dulce et Decorum Est came about as Owen was recovering from shell shock up in Scotland. Shortly after going to Scotland, he returned supposedly to quiet duties, but was back on the front line very early in 1918. This poem dates from that time, although it wasn't published until after his death. Owen was awarded the Military Cross for extreme bravery in the engagement which led to his death in November 1918, exactly 1 week before the end of the war in Europe. Dulce et Decorum Est. Bent double, like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs and toward our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on, bloodshot. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of gas shells dropping softly behind. Gas, gas, quick boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone still was yelling out and stumbling and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea, I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face like a devil sick of sin. If you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile, incurable sores on innocent tongues. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie, dulce et decorum est, pro patria more.
That was Andrew Horton playing Nimrod. Next, this short one-act play was written by Captain Oliphant Down while in active service on the Western Front during World War I. Before the war, he had written a number of plays that were performed all over the UK. His military service began on the 7th of January 1916, serving in the Royal Berkshire Regiment. On 22nd of September the same year, he was awarded the Military Cross for conspicuous gallantry in action.
Tommy, by the way, was the last play he wrote. He died in action on the Somme on the 23rd of May 1917. Although written during World War I, the themes and characters Captain Down introduces are relevant throughout the history of English warfare.
Oh, gold. Oh, gold. Gold. Oh, what am I to do? It's easy. It's easy. I'll do it. I will. It's easy. I'll do it. I will. I will do it. I will. Bonjour, madame. Il fait chaud. Beaucoup. N'est-ce pas? Oui? Oh, all right, if you don't comprehend your own blasted language, go on, hop off. Hop off, toot sweet, do you hear me? Go on, hop it. Why don't you learn a decent Christian language?
You poor boy.
Oh, you do speak English, do you? Oh, it's just like you foreigners. Learn our lingo and then look down your nose at us because we can't parlez-vous back. Suppose you only learnt it so you could spy, didn't you? That's what you are, a dirty lot of spies. Well, you ain't spying on me. I ain't nothing to do with you. Oh, what the hell did I come to this blasted country for? Oh, God.
You're tired.
Thought I was asleep, did you? What were you going to do? Go through my pockets? Trying to find dispatches, are you? Ain't got no dispatches. Go on. You ain't going through my pockets. I've got 8 francs, and I bet you'd like them, wouldn't you? 8 francs, that's all I've got. I know your sort. I've seen them at the Staminets.
That wouldn't be much good to me. I possess far more than that.
Oh, and I can well believe it. The profits you foreigners make off us, something wicked it is. Here, give me that rifle, I'm off.
Have you finished cleaning it?
What?
Weren't you cleaning it just now?
Did I look like I was cleaning it?
Well, you had your back to me.
You ever seen a fella clean his rifle with the bayonet on it?
I'm only a woman, you know.
Well, what's it got to do with you anyhow?
More than you'd think.
If you really want to know, I'll tell you. I'm fed up. I've had enough. I was going to give myself a blighty touch.
A self-inflicted wound. Yes, I knew that.
Well, what do you want to ask for then?
Because I wanted to hear you confess it.
Oh, did you really? Well, if you think you're going to get me shot at dawn every day for a week, think on. There's no one else here. You've got no witnesses, see?
Why are you so fed up?
Why do you think I'm fed up? It's just been blooming out for the last week. I've been in trenches what's been blown to pieces and all me mates around me killed or wounded.
All your pals killed or wounded and you're running away.
Well, go on, say it then. A coward.
No, I wasn't going to say a coward. I was going to say a son of some poor mother in England who looks up to you as her hero.
Don't give me none of your hero stuff. I don't want to be a hero. I am just an ordinary bloke. I was earning me 25 bob a week before this blasted war started. I had a good job.
And yet, you gave it up.
And why? Because my girl said if I didn't chuck my job in and be
a man,
she'd chuck me.
That was the spirit of the women of England speaking. So you listened to her and you joined up.
Well, I didn't have any choice, did I? I wasn't going to have her calling me a coward. Easy enough for her to do it. She didn't have to go through all of this. And I'll tell you something else as well. She didn't have to fancy herself walking along the street looking at all the other girls whose fellas weren't in khaki.
And when you left for France, there were no tears?
Well, she laughed, you know, to make it look like she was merry and bright. She kept her head down, and when the train left, she waved her hanky in, and like me, for a laugh, I grabbed at it. Lord love me, it weren't half wet.
And yet you say she didn't have to go through it.
Well, you know, I've still got her hanky, look. It's dry now.
But her eyes are not. And when you go home and you tell her, I ran away, do you think she'll walk with dry eyes and a smiling face down that little street in Islington?
Oh, chuck it. But hang on a minute. How do you know that she lives at Islington?
Well, I just knew, didn't I?
Well, and you don't come from Islington.
I come from north, south, east and west.
Lord love me, you are a right one, aren't you? Who are you?
I was wondering when you were going to ask me that. I am the spirit of the women of England.
The spirit?
Of the women of England. I was when England first was. And down through all the historied years, I have watched and waited, while my men made England what it is.
But a spirit, that's what, blimey.
I know, exactly. You're wondering if it's shell shock. It seems strange, doesn't it? To see me talking to you like your girl might. But I've often talked to you before.
You have?
Well, there was that time where you had to join up or be chucked. Of course, you didn't know it was I. Then each time letters have arrived from home, I've been there with you. And do you remember that time they were shelling that broken, battered trench that you'd all taken so splendidly in the morning? You were sitting in a shell hole.
With Bill Hester. Yeah. We was waiting for the counter-attack, and my God, weren't they just crumping the stuff about?
And as you sat there, you pulled a crumpled picture out of your pocket, and though you hadn't been speaking about her before, you just said, "That's her."
And old Bill, he gave a start and he said, Lord love me, I was thinking of my missus and all.
Yes. I was with you both that night, nerving you, bidding you both to be strong.
Old Bill, he bagged 9 of them before they did him in.
And you did well that night too.
Oh, no, I nicked a few, but we held that streak of mud, didn't we? They never retook a single yard of it.
Yes. And the spirit of the women of England was proud of her men that night.
We was as cocky as a load of sparrows when we first came out here. But I tell you, you should see the state of them that won't ever come out no more.
I saw them. For I am with every man in his last hour of pain, when he lies wounded and there be none to hear his call. And when there comes upon him the horror of a great darkness, he feels that I am by his side, and peace falls over him like a veil. And when the tidings come, wife, mother, sweetheart, hear my voice and clutch at comfort, saying with me, "He died magnificently." Oh, if you men would only be sure of the spirit of the women of England, there would be no sad faces when you think of home. for they are so sure of you, so certain that, come what may, their men will never fail them.
Well, it's easy for them, isn't it? They ain't got to go through it. A man's got no chance with the shrapnel and the high explosive and the machinery. And what I want to know is why the out... Well, I suppose I shouldn't talk to you like that, should I?
Well, yes, well, talk to me like you talk to her.
Well, why the hell should we do it at all?
Well, if a man insulted your girl, what would you do?
What do you think I do? Oh, not half, I wouldn't.
And do you remember once when that really did happen?
Well, actually, it's happened once or twice.
Yes, but on this particular occasion, that man hit you a bit hard and you chucked it up.
Oh, I never. It is a lie. I don't know who told you that, but it's a lie.
I saw it myself.
It's a lie, I tell you.
No, it's not. It happened just now when you were cleaning your rifle.
Oh, come on, not that. I ain't fighting for me, girl.
You're fighting for England. England's a woman, you know. England is just every man's girl.
Damn England.
Certainly. If you like. You've probably damned your girl enough times, but that doesn't make you love her any less. You see, that's what our enemies could never understand. They thought that because we went around and damned our England, that we wouldn't fight for her. But we did.
Oh, we did. Because there ain't no foreigners going to come it over us.
Well, unless they hit a bit too hard and...
Oh, all right, you've got me there. I'd have done it too. You said we never let our women down, but I would have done it. If you hadn't just walked in, I would have done it.
Well, you hadn't failed us then. That was just your hour of agony in the garden.
But I would have done it. And what am I going to do now?
Well, go back the way you came.
No. I can't go back. I ran away.
No, you only lost direction. Anyone can lose direction in the dark, and yours was a very dark hour.
I can't go back. I could never forget that I'd been a coward.
I've known those who thought they were cowards once, and have proven themselves such men, they've won the cross.
Oh, don't give me none of your Victoria Cross. I ain't interested in any of that. Any bloke that's been through that knows that it's rot. Pictures in the papers, girls all kissing you. I don't want none of that.
And that's only one side of it. Think of all your pals who lie fallen in the corner of a field they won with forests of little wooden crosses standing sentinel above them. Well, wouldn't it be worthwhile to wear a cross in memory of those splendid dead?
In memory? In memory of what? What, of Bill? In memory of lots of them.
Wouldn't it?
I'm sleepy. But in memory of them?
Sleep. Gather strength from me, the spirit of the women of England, who has kept vigil throughout all time. Never in any season has our nation's sword been drawn, but I have been there too. Behind the path of the invader, I have wept over desolate hearts. And I've stood behind defeat to nerve the arm to victory. I have sailed in oaken ships to the outposts of the world, and in ships of steel I have kept the gates of commerce clear. Little by little, England has given place to empire, and I girdle the great round world across the 7 seas. There is no land that knows me. I have strengthened the arm of the pioneer as he has hewed his way through unadventured forests, and harnessed the forces of nature to his will in each wild continent. Time was when I could be none other than a force behind my men, but in these later years, I have a further part. Now, it is given to me to work with my hands in field and in factory, in camp and in hospital, and to bear the physical burden of each day. Oh, women of England and of our empire, in this, your greatest hour, look upon me who am but a reflection of yourselves. No little thing am I, but life and love, urging, guiding, compelling, seldom with any glamour, but always in great moments of trial and sorrow. And so, until the world's end, a force unconquerable.
Oh, blimey. Been asleep, have I? Oh, hang on, you still here?
Yes, I was looking after your rifle. You were cleaning it when you fell asleep?
Yes, I was, and don't you go for saying that I wasn't.
Do you still think I want you to get a court-martial?
Oh, no, I don't know. I suppose not. You know, I had a right rummy dream about you. You wouldn't half laugh if I told you straight up. I dreamt that you were... Well, never mind. I'd better be off.
And you don't still think I'm a spy?
Oh, no. Look, I was a bit narked then, all right. And besides, you're going to think this is a bit sloppy, but, you know, well, you sort of remind me of my girl. And that's why I'm going to let you in on a secret. Tonight, there's going to be the biggest scrap you've ever seen. And they're mums. They aren't half going to get it. And I'm going to be one of them. What gives them hell? I am. So long.
That was thought-provoking, wasn't it? Right, we'll continue now with a song. You singing?
No.
No. Okay. This song will take us up to the break, and it was written in 1941 by Mac Gordon and composed by Harry Warren. It was originally recorded as a big band swing tune by Glenn Miller and his orchestra, and was the first song to receive a gold record for sales over 1 million copies. Please welcome the Andrews Sisters.
Chattanooga, 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 choo-choo.
after that, I'm pleased to say the bar is open. Proceeds from this evening will be going to Three Forces and Veterans charities. Help for Heroes, who primarily deal with the rehabilitation of injured service personnel.
Combat Stress are involved with veterans suffering from PTSD, and the Not Forgotten, who provide entertainment and get-togethers for veterans, including an annual garden party at Buckingham Palace, which I was fortunate to attend last year. And don't forget to buy your tickets for the Vicar of Dibley at the back there. We'll see you in about 15-20 minutes.
Don't wait no longer for the thrill you seeking. Let's come to give you lesson one, he to give you lesson two. Madam's there to supervise, as the step and exercise. The madam shows you how to walk, the madam marks it with her talk. When the madam talks walk, that's your bad double talk. Six lessons from Madam Lazomba, and you discover what practice can do. And say, by the way, if your dancing's okay and Madam likes it, the lessons are free for you and me. They're free.
just very quickly, somebody may well have dropped a purse. You'll find it. If you've lost another purse, please make your way up the front and we'll give it back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got, take your seats, we'll start in about 5 minutes' time. And if you didn't hear the announcement just now, there has been a purse that's been handed in. Simon says it's not his, but if anybody has lost a purse, please come and see us and we'll give it back to you. We're going to show the world who's who. And this is how you end your little chorus. Thumbs up, diggity-boo, diggity-boo.
There is a Miss L. Edwards in the building. Would you like to come up to the front, please?
Well, I hope you all had a bit of refreshment there and a bit of underwear adjustment. And we'll kick off again the second half with Penny, who's going to give us some more reminiscences about V-Day parties and street things and whatever else. Welcome back, Penny.
Now, ooh, is that better? Can you hear me?
No.
Am I switched on now? No. Can't hear a thing. Try again. Okay. Right, I'll speak really loudly and clearly. Right. A few of us can remember wartime school days. And apart from the meals that I've already mentioned, one of us was a boarder in Weston-super-Mare and was well protected by anti-aircraft balloons. But the heavy gunfire in nearby Bristol is a deep and lasting memory. Rosemary's schoolroom was under the playground. The staff at John's Grammar School were old men who had come out of retirement to teach. Only a French teacher who was in poor health and a conscientious objector were young. Many of the teachers were known by their military titles gained in the First World War, major, captain, and so forth, and addressed their pupils as if they were army recruits. Next section, camps, Americans, prisoners of war, and oddments. One of us remembers the Italian prisoners of war in a nearby camp and played football with them. Several have fond memories of American GIs handing out gum and nylon stockings, which were a huge luxury. Anne's parents took over a garage and petrol pump at Kingsholm, and digging it up, they found bones, loads and loads and loads of bones. Later, they were identified as Roman. The younger of us remember the Home Guard hats and shouts of, "Put out that light." One of us remembers all the words, maybe there's more than one of us, but only one is admitting it, to a rude song which involved the absence of certain parts of Hitler's anatomy. And Himmler had something similar. News was very carefully organized and people relied on the BBC. Disasters were only reported some time after the event, and the country was covered in notices like "Careless talk costs lives" and "Be like dad, keep mum." Not quite sure about that one. The day that France fell, and in one school they were all issued with a copy of the Marseillaise, and they learnt to sing it as a gesture of support for France. VE Day parties are remembered by a lot of people. Jules, in her evacuee home at Farmcote, had a huge tea party in the front garden with jam sandwiches and jelly. Some Americans arrived with sweets, and all the staff wore paper hats made from newspaper. Martin was taken into Cheltenham to see the celebrations with many, many flags, and Philip joined the throng in Bristol. One of us was not allowed to go to any street parties, and only found out last week, the reason why. I think it must have been very hurtful at the time, but a recent documentary revealed that she was not allowed to go because her father was still fighting in the Far East. Mary has the youngest memory. At the age of around about 2, she was in her pram being taken out for a stroll by her aunt when a neighbour ran down the drive and said, "The war is over." I went to a street party organised in a large garden just up from our house, garlanded, of course, by flags, and we were promised a huge treat and were given a fresh banana. Most of us spat it out. It was horrid and slimy and a very weird texture.
The next musical number is a song that was made famous by the Andrews Sisters during World War II. The lyrics and the words are the words of the young lovers who pledge their fidelity whilst one of them is serving in the war. Please welcome back Patchwork.
And I would just like to welcome Rob Wilcox.
In the Second World War, Ernest Douglas Wilcox served in the RAF as a rear gunner in Lancaster bombers. You can see his photograph on the back of your programme. This is an extract from a letter to his parents, my grandparents, dated 27th of August 1941. It was written 2 days after Ernest's 21st birthday. In the letter, he mentions and speaks to our Bob, his younger brother, and Bob was my father. To the best parents in the world, to thank you not merely for the liberal cash gift you gave me some days ago, but for everything you have done over the past 21 years. By example, by sacrifice, by generosity on a grand scale, by infinite patience and understanding in times of difficulty. You have together given me an upbringing the equal of which I cannot find amongst all my large circle of pals. Never doubt that my appreciation will take the most practical form in future years, years which we shall enjoy together in peace. As if to remind me of former times, a gunner in this tent is whistling, "Behold the Lamb of God," as I write. Unusual. "Behold the pretty girl" is more typical of your modern soldier. Or, "Behold the nearest pub." Still, he's just gone into the middle movement, and I propose to supply him with a suitable bass in a minute. Tell Dad to remove the mint from his mouth and join in his imagination. And send our Bob, again in imagination, to bring Mum back from Mrs. Hall to play the piano. Happy days. Wash your neck, lad. If you should see her before I do, tell Auntie Edith that the cake was blessed marvellous. And as for the saccharine tablets, I'm coming to expect this miracle of procuration from you able people. Once again, I send you my love and my thanks. As ever, Ernest. Ernest Douglas Wilcock died on the 5th of June 1943 when on a bombing mission over North Germany. He was 22 years old.
And I would like to welcome Chris Haslam.
Amazing letter, Rob. War is without doubt man's most outrageous activity. And yet, okay, war is without doubt man's most outrageous activity, and yet it draws from him too nobility, valor, and art. With its alternating periods of danger and boredom, its resignation, its sense of communal courage, and its essential honesty, the Second World War perhaps stands out, arguably the only necessary war. A time of special war, not any war, but like all wars, one of special flavour to the memory of those fortunate enough to have survived. A time of railway stations awash with uniforms, of cardboard windows and blank signposts, of the 9 o'clock news with someone, some voice reading it, of previously exotic jungles and unheard of deserts, of some of our aircraft reported missing, of the lingering scent of explosive, of blue penciled letters, of car headlamps, masks, of bombers' moons, of wishing luck as you waved goodbye, and of course, of poetry. The question is often asked, why the Second World War poets are not as well known as the First World War. I think there are many answers to that. One of them is, of course, in the First World War, soldiers had so much time to do nothing, to sit and wait in the trenches. In the Second World War, the soldiers were far busier. I think also, in a funny way, the First World War poets had possibly said it all anyway. And the effects of that war were still lingering. Keith Douglas is, for me, the Second World War equivalent of Wilfred Owen. We traced the last few days of his life in Normandy and went to his grave. A very moving experience, as it always is, as many of you will know. But of his excellent poems, I've chosen one called Vergiss mein nicht, which is, of course, German. The easy translation is Forget Me Not, but I think it's more a case of don't ever forget. Don't ever forget. It is about a German pilot, a dead German pilot. And as today, Ukrainian soldiers, and I think Russian soldiers, deserve our sympathy and even our admiration, so the poet feels about this dead German pilot. Vergiss mein nicht. 3 weeks gone, and the combatants gone. Returning over the nightmare ground, we found the place again, and found the soldier sprawling in the sun. The frowning barrel of his gun overshadowing. As we came on that day, he hit my tank with one like the entry of a demon. Look, here in the gun pit, spoil the dishonored picture of his girl, who has put Steffi, Vergiss mein nicht, in copybook Gothic script. We see him almost with content, abased, and seeming to have paid, and mocked at by his own equipment that's hard and good when he has decayed. But she would weep to see today how on his skin the swart flies move, the dust upon his paper eye, his burst stomach like a cave. For here, the lover and the killer are mingled, who had one body and one heart, and death, who had the soldier singled, has done the lover mortal hurt.
And now, singing their iconic 1941 hit,
Please welcome back the Andrews Sisters.
He was a famous drunken man from that Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was the top man of his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, a very cleverly. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. And he got it down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next day the cap went out and drafted a man. And now the country jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A hoot and a toot and a toot-diddy and a toot, he goes his day to the bar. In boogie rhythm he can blow a note, and that's the basic guitar that's playing with him. He knows the captain jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. goes and goes to the bar. In Moody River, he can't grow and wait unless the blessed guitar is playing with him. He makes the country jump, and he plays family. He's the little boy of company.
The next item is part one of a 6-poem collection called Lessons of the War, each a parody of British arming training during the Second World War. The lecturer's language is direct, literally naming the parts of the rifle, noticeably parts of the rifle which these soldiers have not got are also named, such as the piling swivel.
By 1942, when the poem was written, soldiers used the latest version of the Lee Enfield rifle. However, the training manual that the lecturer is showing the men in the poem, was based on an older version of that rifle.
Today we have naming of parts. Yesterday we had daily cleaning, and tomorrow morning we shall have what to do after firing. But today we have naming of parts. Japonica glistens like coral in all of the neighbouring gardens, and today we have naming of parts. This is the lower sling swivel, and this is the upper sling swivel, whose use you will see when you are given your slings. And this is the piling swivel, which in your case you have not got. The branches hold in the gardens their silent, eloquent gestures, which in our case we have not got. This is the safety catch, which is always released with an easy flick of the thumb. And please do not let me see anyone using his finger. You can do it quite easy if you have any strength in your thumb. The blossoms are fragile and motionless, never letting anyone see any of them using their finger. And this, you can see, is the bolt. The purpose of this is to open the breech. As you see, we can slide it rapidly backwards and forwards. We call this easing the spring. And rapidly backwards and forwards, the early bees are assaulting and fumbling the flowers. They call it easing the spring. They call it easing the spring. It is perfectly easy if you have any strength in your thumb, like the bolt and the breech and the cocking piece and the point of balance, which in our case we have not got. And the almond blossom, silent in all of the gardens, and the bees going backwards and forwards. For today we have naming of parts.
During the Second World War, radio comedy was an important feature of British national life. The most prominent comedy show, It's That Man Again, ran from 1939 and regularly reached audiences of 16 million listeners.
As well as broadcasting to the civilian population, the BBC provided entertainment for the armed forces with their programme Merry-Go-Round, a musical show with comic interludes. From this, the BBC developed comedy shows aimed at each of the 3 branches of the armed forces.
Eric Barker's HMS Waterlogged for the Royal Navy and Charlie Chester's Stand Easy for the Army, and for the RAF, Much Binding in the Marsh.
All the programmes were largely written and performed by serving members of the respective services. Much Binding in the Marsh was written by and starred Richard Murdoch and Kenneth Horne, who both served in the RAF.
It features officers in a fictional RAF station coping with the red tape and inconsistencies and incongruities of life in the Second World War, and drew on the name of a real RAF station at Moreton in the Marsh, along with the word binding, Air Force slang for grumbling or complaining.
Please welcome Harry Smith and Simon Andrews.
This is the BBC Home Service. Now we introduce Much Binding in the Marsh.
Much Binding in the Marsh.
As you can imagine, Christmas at Much Binding in the Marsh is being a very gay affair. Christmas dinner is over. Both the officers have waited on the other rank. Plans are now afoot to give everybody a really bright evening, and details are now being discussed by the AOC and CO in the officers' mess.
Well, that was a wizard lunch, Murdoch.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, sir.
By Jove, yes. One of the nicest sandwiches I've ever had. Now, what was it, Murdoch?
Well, there was, have you read any good books lately?
I thought it tasted something like that. By the way, Murdoch, what did you think of my waiting?
Well, I couldn't help feeling that in some ways it was a pity that you insisted on serving the soup in a colander.
Yes, I suppose it was a bit wasteful, but still, I think the airman preferred clear soup. By the way, you were lucky to get hold of that goose, Murdoch.
Well, sir, it wasn't exactly a goose. If I might be so frank, I happened to be out by the Thames at Henley, and I saw a most graceful white bird floating downstream. And there was no nib out, so I put some salt on its tail and some rope on its neck.
Didn't it mind, Murdoch?
No, sir. Never said a word. It was so full of emotion that the words stuck in its throat.
Ah, well, the chap seemed to enjoy eating it. By the way, what did you use for the stuffing?
I didn't have to, sir. It was already full.
Binding in the Marsh, lovely audience. Binding in the Marsh, and all my relations. And
And now we have a poem read by Catherine Wilcox.
The poem I've chosen is called The Monstrous Regiment. Is that better? No? Okay, the poem, yeah, that's better. The poem I've chosen is called The Monstrous Regiment by Alice Coates, written during the war years. She was in the Land Army and was one of over 200,000 women known as land girls who replaced male farm workers who fought in the war. Coming from all backgrounds, land girls were critical to increasing the country's food supply. I think it's interesting to hear Alice Coates' sentiments as women's voices have not been expressed so much in poetry of this time. I've also chosen Alice's poem primarily because it reminded me of what a neighbour told me many years ago about the Yorkshire village in which she grew up, which had a preponderance of single women because many of the local lads had died in the First World War, and so potential husbands were not around. You will hear that in this poem there are women in every walk of life. The title Monstrous Regiment is an iconic take on the treatise against women taking authority written by John Knox in 1548. He believed women's place in the world was to serve men, and so he strongly disapproved of Mary Queen of Scots and Elizabeth I being in charge of nations. Alice Coates humorously advocates the drastic need for social change and reappraisal of women's roles in her society. So, The Monstrous Regiment by Alice Coates. What hosts of women everywhere I see. I'm sick to death of them, and they of me. The few remaining men are small and pale. War lends a spurious value to the male. Mechanics are supplanted by their mothers. Ants take the place of artisans and others. Wives sell the sago, daughters drive the van. Even the mansion is without a man. Females are farming who were frail before. Matrons attending meetings by the score. Maidens are minding multiple machines, and virgins vending station magazines. Dames, hoydens, wenches, harridans and husses cram to congestion all the trams and buses. Misses and grandmas, mistresses and nieces infest bombed buildings, picking up all the pieces. Girls from the south and lasses from the north, sisters and sweethearts bustle back and forth. The newsboy and the boy who drives the plough, postmen and milkmen, all are ladies now. Doctors and engineers, yes, even these, poets and politicians, all are she's. The very beasts that in the meadows browse are ewes and mares, heifers and hens and cows, all doubtless worthy to a high degree, but oh, how boring, yes, including me.
After this show, there will be an informal beacon lighting in the churchyard. Please follow the marshal's directions and be aware that the ground is very uneven. You may take your glasses of drinks with you if you've still got them, but please be careful of the glasses and return them to the church before you leave. Thank you.
And when you are asked to leave, there is a collection bucket either side of the main aisle there for any donations you wish to give to the 3 veterans charities mentioned earlier. If you are able, please stand for the national anthem.
We close now with probably the most famous song from World War II, originally sung by Vera Lynn.
With music and lyrics by Ross Parker and Hughie Charles, sung for us today by Carol Davis. We'd love it if you would join in with the chorus.
Let's say goodbye with a smile, dear. Just for a while, dear, we must part. Don't let this parting upset you. I won't forget you, sweetheart. We'll meet again. don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. And let me please say hello to the folks that I know, tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that when you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. After the rain comes the rainbow, we'll see the rainbow, never fear. We too must wait for tomorrow, no more sorrow, my dear. Do stand up if you want. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just as you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. And won't you please say hello to the folks that I know, tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that when you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
The Winchcombe Players, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to thank you all for coming along this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think the people taking part put a lot of hard work into this. So another round of applause, and then you can all go outside for the beacon lighting.
My father said I miss my son, remembered by his favorite song on the radio in the kitchen. Mother said he's still here, sweetie wipes away her tear and goes upstairs to make his bed again. When a family is afraid to feel because the pain is way too deep. They've been holding their breath, someone they love has left. Please come home and give them peace. Still waiting for you to come right through that door. You are not forgotten. Please take us back to the way it was before. You are not
We do still have a purse for Mrs. L. Edwards up here.
all the colors. the lonely shade of gray.
Let's go.
When a family is afraid to speak because the truth cuts way too deep. They've been holding their breath. Someone they love has left. Please come home and give them peace. Still waiting for you to come right through their door. You are not forgotten. Please take us back to the way it was before. You are not forgotten. Still waiting for you to come right through that door. You are not forgotten. Please take us back to the way it was before. You are not forgotten.
Don't forget to charge your glasses and go and watch the beacon being lit.